Two. So I thought that I would show you guys today how I square up my quilts. So I quilted the little girl quilt this morning, and so here we go. Generally speaking, I use a 24-inch ruler. This is 6 by 24. I like the QS rulers because they don't slide. They have a yellow coating, which is very nice. Kind of grips the fabric for you. I like it 24 inches long because I want a long straight run when I'm going up the sides. Now, a lot of people have concern with how square their corners are. So if you prefer to use a larger square like this is a 12-inch square, you can, in order to get a nice square corner. So you want to line up, look at your borders and line up the appropriate size. Like this is 3.5 inches to where the edge of the border is, and yes, it's going to cut off all this little frayed stuff. And then make sure you line it up 3.5 inches over here. That's going to net you the squarest corners that you can get. You know, so that's one way of doing it. I generally don't use the larger square, but whatever makes you more comfortable. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and cut that off, and then I would go ahead and cut down this side. You don't really have to cut it all. It's just getting you going in the right direction. So then I pull it close to me. I'm going to switch out to the 24-inch ruler because, again, that's my go-to. And I use these little knobs to help hold the rulers. Then I'm going to line up on the edge right here where you sliced. I don't know if you can see that, but right on the edge right there. And then keep in mind, like my border, I'm at the 3.5 mark here, so I should look way, I'm off scene, but way off to the end of the ruler to line it up with the 3.5 inches way out there. And then I'm going to take just a long straight run. And then I'm going to pull it back, and I actually use my belly to push the ruler for me. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to line it up on the edge with the 3.5 inch here, and I'm going to mark the 3.5 inch way out there. Once I have it lined up, regardless of whatever you're cutting off over here, this is going to make the edge of your quilt nice and straight, you know. So now I'm to the corner, and I went straight based on the first corner that I did. So I'm going to turn the whole quilt like this, right? And if I was in fact straight on that first corner and my border is 3.5 there to where I'm cutting, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the 3.5 inch edge, and this bottom portion here, if I'm truly lined up straight all the way up and down, this should be straight with the bottom edge of my ruler, which it is. So that's lucky. So I'm going to go ahead and cut along here. Do the same thing, just pull it down towards me, keeping in mind 3.5, 3.5, line it up, cut it, line it up, and cut it again. And I'm going to go right off the edge again, right? Because what this should get me is it should get me when I turn the corner, it should get me a square corner again. Now, if you want to go back and use the larger square, you're certainly welcome to do that. Usually works out for me that I just pay attention to the long line. Don't be bothered if your square dips down a little bit from your piecing or something happened there. Just look at the big picture. The big picture is having the long straight lines and the nice sharp corners, and a little bit of wiggle in between isn't really going to matter because your quilt is made by human hands, and I think that small amount of imperfection is okay. So this is the last side. We're going to head back to the original part where we used the large square, and again, hit that nice and perfect. That's awesome. And only takes a few minutes, and here we are back at the beginning. So you can see here that if all's right with the world, if we line up our edge here and we line up the edge that we cut here, then sure enough, look at that, whip that last little bit off, and there you go. So 24-inch ruler is ideal, and you have a trimmed quilt ready for binding. Thanks a lot. Have fun.